Okay, here we are again. Remember the study we have done with our variable, the number of children per family. These were the number of children, no children, one child, two children, 3, 4, 5, and these were the frequency, the number of families. 3 families with no children, 5 families with 1 child, 8 families with 2 children, 6 families with 3 children, 3 families with 4 children, and 2 families with 5 children. So now we are going to make a graph. The appropriate graph for this type of variable, a quantitative discrete variable, is a bar chart. So we are going to make a bar chart. We don't need this part here, so I'm going to erase here. And here we are going to make our bar chart. So first we draw 2 axes. Here I'm going to draw the frequency Fi, and here on the horizontal axis I'm going to draw the number of children. So we start with 0 children, 1 child, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the frequency, it has to go all the way up to 8. So let's make it smaller. 8 must be around here. So because 8 is the highest number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is the families. 1, the 0 would be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we can continue, but we are not gonna need any more because the highest number is 8. But we could continue that. So this is the frequency, the number of families with these children. And now, so for 0 we have 3, so we are gonna make a bar here. For 0, that's 3. For 1 child we have 5, so for 1, we have 5. For 2 we have 8, so for 2 we have 8. For 3 we have 6, 6 is here. One, 2. So for 3 we have 6. For 4 we have 3. For 4 we have 3. For 3 and for 5 we have 2. This is a bar chart. Don't mix it up with a histogram that we will do later, or we will see later, because in a bar chart the bars are separate from each other. There's a gap here. They are not together. The bars are separated. There's a gap between bars because it is a quantitative discrete variable. So bar charts are appropriate for discrete variable. Quantitative discrete variables. That's why the bars are separated, because there's nothing between 0 and 1. Between 0 children and 1 child, there's nothing in between. They cannot be 0.5, one half of a child. And between 1 and 2 there's nothing. So that's why the bars are separated. So this is a bar chart, which is a very common graph, a very appropriate graph for a discrete variable, quantitative discrete. Well, and now we are going to do a different study and end up with a different type of chart, a different type of graph. We are gonna study we have done a survey about the pets that we can find in families. So we have asked a number of families which type of pet they had at home, and these are the results. So we have found out that there were 35 families. This is the frequency. This is what we call the absolute frequency, the number of families who had dogs. 35 families had dogs. 20 families had cats. 15 families had birds. 5 families had tortoises, and 5 more families had fish. So we are gonna add all the numbers and we get 80. 80 is the number of families we have asked. That is what we call, the same as with other types of variables, that's the sample size n that we call n. That is the number of families we have surveyed, we have asked. We have asked 80 families. And this is, as I said, the absolute frequency. The number of families having dogs, cats, birds, tortoises, and fish. And now we are gonna find what we call the relative frequency, FR. The relative frequency. To find the relative frequency, what we do is we divide the absolute frequency divided by 80. Okay? The relative frequency is found by dividing the absolute frequency divided by, this is the formula, but the sample size. So in this case we are gonna divide 35 by 80. 35 divided by 80, that is 0.4375. 20 divided by 80, that is 0.25. 15 divided by 80, that is 0.1875. 5 divided by 80, that is 0.0625. You can use your calculator and check these results. And 5 again divided by 80 is the same, 0.0625. If we add all these numbers, we should get 1. So that's the relative frequency. And I'm going to add a column here, one more column, which is what we call the percent. The percent is very simple. If you have the relative frequency, the percent is just multiply the relative frequency by 100. So just move the decimal point 2 places over to the right. So here the percent would be 43.75. Here it would be 25%. Here it would be 18.75%. Here it would be 6.25%, and here it would be the same, 6.25%. As we add all the percents, the same as for the relative frequency, we get 1. Here, if we add the percents, we will get 100%. Okay? And now, if we want to do an appropriate graph for this type of study, the graph we need is a pie chart, a circle with different angles. How do we find the angles we need for the circle? This is what we are gonna do now. So we need to add another column. This column is only needed if we want to do a pie chart, and this column is the angle. Angle is the column we need here. So how do we do this column? Very simple. We find 43.75% of 360, because 360 is the whole circle. Okay, so to find the angle, we find 43.75% of 360. This, we know already how we can do that. 360 degrees. We know how to do that because we have done in previous units. Finding a percent, just multiply the numbers and divide by 100. You can use a calculator to do this. So in this case, it's very simple. We are gonna get 157.5 degrees. That's the angle that goes here, 157.5 degrees, because it is an angle. And we have to do the same thing with all the other numbers. Here, 25% of 360, that's easy, 25%, because 25% is dividing by 4. So it's 1/4. So that's 90 degrees. That's easy. 90 degrees. Now 18.75, that is not obvious. So 18.75 of 360, and that is 67.5. 67.5. You can do that with your calculator if you want. 67.5 degrees. 6.25%. 6.25% of 360, and that would be of 360, that would be 22.5 degrees. So here is 22.5, and here it would be the same because it's the same number, 22.5 degrees. And now we add all the angles, and what should we get here? The result is the total circle, 360 degrees. Okay? So now we have here the complete study of a qualitative variable, pets in the families, in different families. Now I'm gonna make the pie chart. To make the pie chart, I only need the first column and the last, the angle. So I'm gonna erase all the columns in the middle I don't need them to make the pie chart. I need them to do the study, but not to make the pie chart. And now I'm gonna move this over here. This over here. And now we have space here to do it. First we are gonna draw a circle here. Here is our circle, and now we need a protractor like this, and we are gonna start drawing the angles. First we draw the radius of the circle, and we're gonna start measuring the angles. 157.5, so I put the protractor here. We all know how to use a protractor, we do this in primary. So 157, more or less 157, it would be here, more or less. So this would be dogs. The next would be cats, so I have to turn the protractor around, put the 0 here, and 90 degrees for cats. So this is gonna be cats. Now we go with birds. 67.5, so turn the protractor around. 67.5, it would be around here, and that would be birds. And now finally we have tortoises and fish, which is the same for 22.5, so let's do it. It would be dividing this, divided this part into halves. 22.5, it would be here, which is more or less half of the remaining part. And I'm gonna use green for tortoises, and I'm gonna use now again red but with a different shape for fish. So this would be tortoises, and this would be fish, and tortoises are green crosses and fish are red circles. So this is a pie chart. This is how we do a pie chart, with the angles, and we measure the angles and we do the circle. And don't forget to put the key next to the circle so everybody knows what is there, and this gives us a very good idea of the proportion of the different types of pets, because you at a glance you see the circle and which part of the circle is covered by each of those pets. Okay, so this is how you do a pie chart with the angles, and you know already how to get the angles. So that's all. Simple, isn't it?